For those on the Capitol lawn and nearby, we want to say hello and introduce our small gathering here. We have some visitors with us who have immigrated to the United States from China and who are willing to share their own personal stories of religious and political persecution that took place in the mainland China. They include a group of people here today who are traveling across the country in order to expose crimes that they witnessed or suffered themselves as people who practice the spiritual discipline of Falun Gong. The message they'd like to share with us today is simple and clear. They believe, as many of us do, that it is time for this oppressive Communist Party of China to come to an end. Whether they're crimes against humanity that include torture, arbitrary imprisonment, criminal psychiatric abuses, or even forced harvesting of organs from living prisoners of conscience, the Communist Party of China has become an abomination that no longer has a place in a civilized world. When we say this today, we think it's important to clarify that communism did not originate in China. As you may know, communism was originally a political idea that was hatched in Western Europe more than 100 years ago. The word conspiracy gets bandied about and gets discredited by some people, so let's just say it was a political strategy to divide the East and the West into two factions, and it was a strategy to build up both sides via military conflict and build their capacity to wage advanced warfare. Ultimately, the goal of communism was for a few political powers to eventually divide and conquer the entire world. The playbook of communist revolutions is really the same in all cases. In order to establish a draconian police state that rules by fear and coerces people's loyalty, people's spirits must first be broken. The pillars of a civilized society, including traditional families, loyalty to one's own country, religion, ownership of private property, and basic human rights must all be abolished and discredited. Only when the people themselves have been demoralized can a despotic regime gain total control. But once again, this monstrosity of communism isn't inherently Chinese. Prior to the Communist Cultural Revolution in China, China had a 5,000-year legacy of traditional culture and values, from one great dynasty unto the next. It was based upon ageless principles and wisdom drawn from Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. The Chinese people, from their emperor throughout all levels of society, believed in living in harmony with nature, nurturing their families and local communities, and being guided by humankind's relationship with the heavens. Spiritual disciplines like the Falun Gong flourished, and people knew that if they wanted to create peace and harmony around themselves, they first needed to begin by looking into themselves and improving their own character. Fortunately, there are still leaders among us who support traditional values and personal character. At the root of communism lies a diabolical and nihilistic hatred towards the divine and its creation. It doesn't value human life and seeks only power for itself, while seeking to control and subjugate its members. It has sought to expand its influence in American politics, media, entertainment, education, and elsewhere. By being aware of this, we hope that you'll be able to steer clear of its influence and help join us all to end the CCP altogether. Why don't we conclude here and wish you the best to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much.